Yes, now Familamo, welcome back to another video on Jazza TV. Today we're going to talk about something that everybody is interested in boxing. Even the people who aren't interested in boxing, they still want to know about the finances. The finances of boxing, how much it costs, how much you're going to earn. Obviously it's case by case scenarios, but how much you're going to earn, and if you do earn, how much you're going to, when you do earn, how much you're going to have to pay out. And also, the most important thing I'm going to talk about here today, I'll come to that towards the end, will be why you never see fighters holding on to the money. Why do fighters make good paydays? You hear about fighters making good paydays, but they end up broke, as the question was. I'll leave the question here on the screen, and I'll cover most of it. And yeah, it's a sad situation where you see a lot of fighters who ends up in a situation where they have made a few quid, but they never done nothing with it. So obviously making finances in boxing, every boxer who turns professional, not every boxer, most fighters will turn professional because they've got a purpose and they've got a dream, they've got a realization that they're good enough to do it as a professional boxer. There's a small them fighters are gonna go through the amateur system, they're gonna go in the national ABAs, like myself, always about you, Jazz, always about you. So I went in the national championships about 6 or 7 times. I won 5 national titles and turned professional. It was always my dream to turn professional, but even when I turned professional, I had no understanding. And this is why it's a good video here, because some kids might watch this, they've got no one to guide them, no one to tell them what to do, how to do it. Because when you're an amateur boxer, just like you are a footballer or any other sport really, unless you've got parents who've been through it who can advise you on this, you're just shown the next step. You're not told the plan, you're not given no plan, no future plan, no 5-year plan, no 10-year plan. You're just told the next step. So yeah, I'll see you at training on Tuesday. After training on Tuesday, this is what we do, we'll tell you, and then we do these drills, and then I'll see you at the game on Saturday. After the game on Saturday, right, tomorrow recovery run, and we're just given like a 2-day plan. That's what we're given. So when I turned professional, I knew nobody in my family had ever boxed as a professional or high level as an amateur. No one was interested in boxing. My family wasn't interested in boxing. My half of it didn't used to watch boxing. Football was a passion in our house growing up. Both sad Everton fans, weren't we? Never won nothing through my whole life. Back to the boxing. We never watched boxing. Boxing was never on the telly in my house. I remember one night waking up though late, staying in my cousin's house, and on ITV was Joe. I was well into boxing at this stage. Joe Calzaghe was fighting Jeff Lacey, and it was a brilliant fight to watch. Watched on my own, I couldn't believe it. That's the first time probably ever looked into a boxing fight. But anyway, Jazzy, you're going off. Wow, where's he going with this one? But yeah, so you've got no one to tell you what to do, how to go about it. Here's the steps you take when you're turning professional. If you're lucky enough, like I was, to have people around you who can guide you. If you're a good fighter, people will be more than happy to help you because they want to be seen as that person who will. This is just brutal honesty. They want to be seen as that person who helped that fella be a champion. You know what I mean? They'll tell all the mates, I guided him. You know what I mean? That's what you hear a lot, don't you? Everyone's related to a boxing belt. When you win a belt, you get cousins coming out of nowhere. Everyone's related to the belt. So these people are going to guide you. If you're not so good and you turn professional, you're going to have no one to guide you. You're probably going to be lied to. You're going to be led along. You're going to get used because people are going to see you and go, you're not that good, but you're good enough to build a rivalry in the city. And my kid, who is good, he can get a scalp off you. And that's how a lot of promoters, people like that see you. You're nothing but a business transaction. I'll come on to business transactions in a minute because it plays a big part in boxing. But you're turning professional, you're going to get guided. Can I get a meeting with a professional boxing promoter? Now, I was led along a little bit by when I turned professional, I was looking through different gyms, having a look around. One coach told me that no one was interested in me, and he could help me, and he'll get me on his shows because he has a few boxing shows. And luckily I managed to get out of that situation, and I just thought, what the fuck have I got to lose? And I messaged Frank Warren, Frank Maloney, Ricky and Steve Woods. I messaged them myself because I knew it was worth more than I was 5 times national champion and just won the ABAs. I was already qualified to go in the Tri Nations as a senior fighter, and I was only 18 years old. So I had boxed all over the world for England, so I knew I was worth more than that, but I couldn't understand how now no one wants to know as a professional. It just didn't make no sense. It turns out the fella was lying to me to use me for his shows and to elevate himself on the back of me, where I thought I was going to a coach because I was going to use him to guide me in my career, and that's what you do. But I didn't know that you're transactional. I just thought, because I'm in the amateur boxing system, everyone in the amateur system is there to help. First and foremost, they're there to help themselves. It's their own passion, it's their own project, but they help the kids, and the kids who get help from these people, it's amazing. These people are just, they're the best people in the world. They do it for free, and it's amazing, really. So when you turn professional, you assume that everybody's like that until you find out when money gets involved, the people change. Not slightly, they change a lot. So if you can get a meeting with a promoter, he'll offer you the deal. You get a manager. The manager's job is to do all this for you, to get you a meeting set up. So if you can get a manager, reach out to a manager, to a youngster, he'll get you a deal with a promoter or a meeting with a promoter, to go to the promoter to ask what you want. If it doesn't benefit the promoter, that's business, you know what I mean? You're asking for too much, that's business. But you shouldn't underestimate yourself, because I always say this to fighters: whatever you think you're worth, treble it, and that's what you're really worth, you know what I mean? It's a promoter's job as a business to keep fighters suppressed. Whether they like me saying this or not, the truth is they want the best deal. Who doesn't? And that's just the way it is. So treble your value, and that's what you're worth. So then you get, they'll do the steps for you. Promoter's job is to put the show on. You get the tickets, maybe you sell the tickets. If you're a massive name, don't have to worry about that. But it's a bonus, because then you can elevate you onto bigger platforms. But that's how you get your first fight. Coach might play a part in it if he's got his hands in it, in managing, promoting, maybe. But if not, it's probably his job just to coach you, and we'll leave it there. That's some coaches get the Lions blades and they think that they're there to manage you and promote you. Sometimes they burn bridges on your behalf because that's not their job. But then you're gonna get offered a wage. Now, select the wages. We'll call it a good fighter. For the first fight, he's gonna get 4-round fight. He's gonna get £10,000. So £10,000 will be divided. You're gonna take your tax out of it. If you're not paying, if you haven't got a limited company, a business company, you're gonna pay more tax. Now, depending on what you earn, I think something like £50,000 a year, the tax bracket goes up, doesn't it? I think it can go up to like 50%. So you bring your tax bracket down by getting a limited company. It's not against the law. You're not fixing the system. This is illegal. This is what limited companies are for. You are now a business. Now, a lot of youngsters don't understand that they've got a business when they turn professional. Just think they're still a boxer, but they haven't. Now they're a business. They're their own business. and that's why you can open a limited company as a professional fighter. So then you're going to pay the tax on that. It's probably something like, say, 20%. Then you're going to give 10% to your coach. You're going to pay your cutsman whatever he charges. Could be like, say, 150 quid maybe for your cutsman for the 4-round fight. Then you have your coach, which is 10% to £10,000. You pay your coach, and that's tax deductible. You didn't earn that was his wages. So you pay your coach, which is 10%, which is £1,000. Now you pay your manager. Your manager's, I think the manager's rate is something like 5 to 15% maybe, I'm not too sure. But the going rate is 10% for the manager. You don't pay your manager. I always have, because 10% to coach, 10% to manager. That's what I always heard it was, so that's what it'll always be for me. They do a good job. The promoter, he can charge too. He can charge, I think, something like 10%. So you can give 10% to your coach, 10% to your promoter, 10% to your manager. 20% to the tax man. There's over 50% gone already. Now these are just rough figures here, but what a lot of fighters don't know, they hear 10% like I did, but when you pay your manager and your promoter, you don't, most of the time you don't pay your promoter when you're turning professional, so take that one out. Let's say, so you're paying the manager, you're not paying the manager 10% of what you got, £10,000. You're paying your manager 10% after you pay your coach, after your expenses. That's when your manager's paid. So it's not £1,000 out of £10,000, it's £900. Not every fighter knows that. I hope I'm not grassing on a few managers there, but I also hope that I am, especially if you've got your fingers in the fighter's business and you're taking his money and you're one of them managers, because there's a lot of them out there. So then you'll incur costs during the camp. So here's my cost. You have a nutritionist, you have, which you should have, an accountant, especially if you've got a limited company. Young fighters don't want to go and be doing their own tax returns and stuff like that. You just send it all through the accountant. It takes a lot off you, and it's worth paying for the less stress. It's worth paying to keep your mind at ease, that all your finances are under control, and you can and you can just focus on one thing, which is boxing. You're a professional athlete now, so you have to pay for your accountant, you have to pay for your strength and conditioning coach, whatever these obviously these are all vary, these prices, won't they? So it's pointless me even giving you a figure. You'll have to pay for your sparring partners. Obviously you have to pay for your food, don't you? Your supplements, that might be your creatine, protein, vitamins, etc. Then you will have, what else you'll have? There's a lot actually. Some fighters have a running coach now. Some fighters use a psychologist, don't they? Sports psychologist. If you are lacking in any areas mentally, in times gone by, people used to say it was weak a weak mentality to go and see somebody like this, but I don't think so. I just think that it's a strong mentality, that you're going to face these problems head on. You know, it's not easy, is it, all often to talk about your problems and stuff like that. So I think them days are gone where people were seen as weak. But imagine going to a sports psychologist in the 80s, you get your leg kicked in for that, wouldn't you? But anyway, what else? What other cost is the? There's plenty of cost. You're gonna have your fight kit. That's like you turn a professional. That's gonna be your first one, isn't it? Your fight kit. You're gonna pay for your boots, a few £100 for your shorts, your ball protector. Maybe you're gonna have a cutsman who also wraps your hands. A hand wrapping specialist is gonna wrap your hands for you. What else have we got? There's so much costs here. Your food, covered that one. Now you gotta live on a good diet now, so your food's expensive. And it's every single day. Them costs adds up. I don't think you get tax relief on that, because everyone's got to eat, haven't they? But you can get tax relief on your supplements. Where else are we going here? Your costs, your travel cost as well. Travel cost. You can you got your own limited company. You can get tax relief on like cars for the business, or taxis every day, or fuel to and from the gym, or to and from any sort of workplace. You're going to need to cover your travel costs, aren't you? There's plenty more. So you do the maths on that. You do the maths, and £10,000, which is a very good pace for a fighter turning professional, it's not going to go a long way. A lot of fighters are going to also be boxing on ticket deals. They might break even, they might make nothing, and for the first few fights it's going to cost them to be a professional athlete. It's going to be an investment in themselves to one day the plan goes to plan, then they're going to start fighting for titles and earning good money, you know what I mean? But a lot of fighters just want to live that dream of being a professional fighter, and it can be quite harsh, very harsh, you know what I mean? You don't get that many people who are going to help you if there's nothing in it for them, and that's the way it can be. You sort of almost have to, as a professional fighter, which is the hard thing for a lot of people who don't want to do it. Everyone wants to go to work and get paid for the work that they've done. As a fighter, it's very unsure. We have to invest in ourselves and hope that it comes back. So if you do a full camp, which I've done many times, and there's no fight at the end of it, then no one's going to compensate you. You're not going to get a few quid, a bit of sympathy money. You're not going to get that. You're just going to take it on the chin. A lot of fighters do camps and then they just don't earn it. They lose money on it as it is, but they might come away with a belt or they might come away with a loss. So that's just the way it is. It's heavily self-investment, and you have to you get to a point in boxing, you really have to reevaluate and say, is this worth it for me? Do I really believe in myself? You have to, you know, always reevaluate. Is it worth it? Is it still worth it? Is it still worth it? And that's the way it can be. But yeah, I hope I answered that question there in the best way that I can. They are the costs, and I can't actually give you a figure on what a fighter earns, because it's just case by case. It doesn't make no sense. You earn a lot or you earn not much at all. So the gap between, it's crazy. So yeah, thank you for watching this video, Family Ammo. Please like, subscribe and leave a comment. You have a nice night.